Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome you out to our city council meeting this evening. Our regular council meeting will begin in just a few moments, but prior to that, we need to meet as the Municipal Building Authority to take care of one matter of business. And that will be the approval of the minutes of October 20th, 2015. So as the Municipal Building Authority, I'll note that all of the trustees are present, and we'll ask if there are any additions or corrections to the minutes.
I'd move we approve the minutes for the meeting of October 20th, 2015.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Brass. Was the second by you, Diane?
Yes.
Okay, Diane Turner. Any discussion on the motion? Do we need a roll call vote or just a voice vote?
All in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimous. We will adjourn as the Municipal Building Authority now, and we will convene now as the Murray City Council. We welcome you to our meeting on this Tuesday, December 8th, 2015. And note that all council members are in attendance this evening, and we welcome all of you who are here from the public, as well as staff that are here with us tonight. We would ask that you silence your cell phones if you have cell phones or other electronic devices, if you would silence those. I'd also note that this meeting is being streamed live on murraycitylive.com and will be also available for viewing in the future. We will begin with our opening ceremonies. We'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance, and we've asked Battalion Chief Chad Pasqua from the Fire Department to lead us. Chief.
Everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. Our next item is item 6.2, approval of the minutes of the council meeting of November 17th, 2015. Council members have had...
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes, the council meeting minutes of November 17th, 2015.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Turner and second by Mr. Brass. All in favor? Special recognition section, and 6 tonight will be honoring Jake Christensen. Is it Christensen or Christiansen? Christiansen. Okay, I think I have a typo. A paramedic firefighter, Brett, and Chief Rodriguez.
I'm pretty quick. I'm Blair.
You are quick.
Gil, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Well, we're excited. If we could have Jake come on up. We as a council started this, it's going on over 3 years. And we are excited to be able to present the Murray City Employee of the Month to Jake Christensen. And Jake, we're grateful that you are here and for all that you do for the city. Chief Rodriguez will say a few words, but we will put your name on a plaque back there. We have a $50 gift certificate for you, or for someone, whoever you'd like to give that to. Just hand it to her now? All right. That's what he said. I'll do it. I had to follow instructions. Okay, anyway, but we're excited, and so we have the certificate for you, and we, again, appreciate all that you do. The council recognizes it, and I'm looking around here, and my goodness, these guys look like they're your grandpas, all these people here. Okay, your dad. Anyway, we're excited to have you here, and we'd like to give him a hand from us and the council. All right, I'll turn the time over to Chief.
Thank you, Brett. We appreciate it. Thank you, Council, as well, for the recognition. I'm going to say a little bit about Jake, and then I'm going to give it to Chief Dykeman because he works directly with Jake and can be a little more specific. But one of the problems, not problem, but one of the issues we have when we have an Employee of the Month is trying to get that guy if he's on shift. And if he's not on shift, we got to bring him back, okay? Which isn't too bad all the time. About a third of our department live in another county. Jake's not on shift today, but Jake not only lives in another county, he lives in Price. So he, thank you and your wife and your kids for making the trip and coming out here because it is pretty special to us. And, you know, Jake is about a hard-working guy as I've ever seen. The stuff he does is incredible. He's on top of everything. He's mature beyond his age and much more mature beyond his looks, okay, as far as looking like a young guy, okay. When we interviewed him, and I'll never forget this, I'll tell the story till you retire and I'll come back out of the grave. But as he's interviewing and asked him what he did when he wasn't a fireman, Chief Potters asked him what he did, and he said, "I'm a cowboy, and, you know, for the rodeo." And of course, Chief Potter, in all his tact, said, "You're a rodeo clown." "No, I'm a cowboy." So that's what Jake did for quite a while. But this is well deserved, and we're proud and glad that you made it out and made the effort. Chief Dykeman, if you'd come up and be specific and tell him just exactly what Jake does.
Wow.
But before I do want to present you with this.
All right. Thanks, Chief.
You bet. And then warm up because then you got to say something.
Thanks, Chief, for giving me a chance. I got to tell you about Jake. Don't be fooled by his looks. I always told him I was his battalion chief from pretty much the time he got on the department. Up until I promoted. Now he's got a new battalion chief, but I'd always tell him, "Jake, we got to get you up to the dinner table. You know, don't be afraid to eat. That's one thing we do really well." So I kind of teased Jake about that, but I will tell you this: one of the most important things we do, as far as medical response, is having the proper equipment and the proper supplies. And one of Jake's biggest responsibilities that he has taken on purely himself is to maintain our equipment and supply inventory. And I kind of tease him because short of buying a fire engine in the fire department, he probably spends more money than anybody I know of. Our medical equipment and supplies are really substantial. But beyond that, Jake keeps the right amount on hand. We don't have too much. We don't have supplies that just are wasted. We have what we need when we need it, and we get reimbursed for those supplies. And Jake just does an excellent job of taking care of that. And so much of it's on his own time and after hours, and you know, when other guys are kind of kicked back and enjoying the evening, Jake's down at the station doing inventory and making sure we've got everything we need. Beyond that, and this goes to kind of Jake's maturity as a young paramedic, I'll tell you what, he's really rare and unique in that he expects a lot of himself, and he expects a lot of other people to work around him. And there's a lot, he's just a great example of a good paramedic, and a lot of that just comes from him. But I kind of credit it with the crew he's with, and he was with Captain Walkingshaw for a long time, and Andy taught him a lot of good things, so I think Jake could agree to that. But that being said, Jake, congratulations, well-deserved. You know, we've been doing this in the city for quite some time, and I think the fire department was the first employee of the month, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was, and I think that first name that came to my mind when Chief Rodriguez said, let's discuss, you know, all the good people we got in the department. Jake's been right there, so he's been very patient, but well-deserved, and congratulations, Jake. It's all yours now.
Most of what he said was lies. Just said on. But really, thanks. You know, it was all possible. Chief number one, he gave me a chance. I was a 16-year-old looking kid sitting in his office saying, I've got a red patch and I'm ready to go to work. And he gave me that shot. And then my poor first captain that got me green at the gills. His patience was, it should be acknowledged too. And then, like you said, I've worked with great guys. I always like to think that if I'm the smartest man in the room, I'm standing in the wrong room. So I've got a lot of mentors that got me to this point. And I like to work hard. That's kind of how I was raised. And none of it was really possible without my family. This is my wife, Tana, and our 2-month-old Harper. And Daddy's girl right here is 20-month-old Timber. So I just wanted to say thanks to everybody. And I guess that's what I do, right?
Jake, thank you again, and congratulations on that well-deserved recognition. Any other comments from the council?
I'd just like to say thank you, Jake, for your service to Murray. We really appreciate it. And you have a beautiful family.
And you don't have to stay.
That's right.
Thank you.
However, we do have, Brett, did you have something you wanted to say? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, we do have another special presentation, item 6.3.2. This is a special presentation to Jackie Sadler for receiving the Mayor's Scholarship Award of $25,000 from Stevens Henniger College. Mayor?
Good. I was looking for you. You want to come on up there, Jackie, if you would? As all of you know, because we talked about this a couple of meetings ago in the mayor's report, Stephen Henniger College has offered 2 scholarships. One of them was $25,000 to someone who would submit an essay explaining why they would like to go back to college and complete their college. And we reviewed those essays, and it was a Mayor's Choice Scholarship, and we chose Jackie Sadler to do this. I'd like to tell you just a little bit about the Jackie and the nomination of this scholarship for her. She's kind of following her mother's example. Her mother started college also, and then after she got interrupted from raising children, she went back and got her degree. Both of her parents were involved in education as teachers and everything. Jackie started at Salt Lake City Community College, went to 2 years at that school, and then she interrupted her education by accepting a mission call with the LDS Church to Chile. And then after returning from Chile, she was married, and once again her education was interrupted, much like her mother's education, her parents' education, by raising 4 children. And so now that she's had those children somewhat raised, she feels it's time for her to go back to school as well. And so she had completed her Associate of Arts degree, and now with this scholarship of $25,000, she'll be able to continue on that to complete her bachelor's degree and follow her mother's footsteps and make a, she says, fulfilling a promise to myself is what she's doing. So we would like to congratulate Jackie on this and give her this certificate that's worth $25,000 for a scholarship.
Wow.
It's
like a kindergartner.
Yeah, it does. Let's say something.
I'm probably going to cry if I say something.
Yeah, so am I.
This means so much to me. To be able to finish my degree, it's been a goal that I've had for years, forever. And without this, it wouldn't be possible to do that. And so I am very excited. In fact, I'm late for class right now to be here. But they said you have to go, so thank you so much for this opportunity. And I'm so amazed that I won and very appreciative. That's all. Thank you.
Jackie, congratulations. I know your family is not that, they're still pretty young. And I know it's a lot of work, and good luck to you.
Good luck to you.
Congratulations.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item on the agenda is citizen comments. This is a time for anyone who would like to address the council on any topic that's not on the agenda. As a council, we'll take no action on any item on public comment, but your comments will be on the record. Is there anyone who would like to address the council this evening? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on then. We have no consent agenda this evening. Item 9 are our public hearings. Our public hearing number 1, the administration has requested that this matter be considered at a later date. If there's anyone here for public hearing number 1, we apologize, but that's been withdrawn. It'll be renoticed for a later date for consideration at that time. We'll move to 9.2, our public hearing number 2, and this is to consider an ordinance amending section 17.170.080B of the Murray City Municipal Code to allow string instrument manufacturing, repair, and restoration as a conditional use in the Murray City Center district. The applicant is Adam Day, and Tim is not here tonight, but we have Jared Hall, who will make the presentation. Jared.
Thank you. This application for a text amendment to the MCCD zoning ordinance was presented to the Planning Commission on November 5th at their regular meeting. The important thing to remember about this is that it only affects the MCCD district. That's right here in the downtown. There are a couple of other uses similar to it. They're all smaller, more artisanal kind of manufacturing uses for different items, apparel, commercial printing, greeting cards, and that kind of thing. All of them are subject to certain restrictions, not being more than 5,000 square feet, not having deliveries at odd times, not producing odors, that kind of thing. The applicant was Adam Day of Day Murray Music. You're all probably familiar with Day Murray here on State Street. He is able to produce stringed instruments to make them by hand. He'd like to be able to do that in his facility here on State Street. Staff and the Planning Commission were both supportive of his application to amend the text. He'd be doing it in an area that they might expand a little bit, where the public can actually watch him do that through some glass. It might be kind of a neat thing, we felt like, in our downtown. We're actually, one point of clarification, we're actually, and the Planning Commission actually recommended that the use 3920 be added to the list of permitted uses in the MCCD zone. We actually put it on the agenda that way for the Planning Commission. It showed up as conditional. It is requested to be put in the permitted uses list. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Go ahead, Councilman.
And it's noted in our paperwork that we approved this in 2001.
It was, back when the zoning in the area was CDC. It also wasn't allowed in that zone. Mr. Day successfully petitioned the council to add the use to the CDC zone. At that time, the zoning was changed subsequently before he had a chance to implement his shop there. So we changed the zone to MCCD and again left it out of the permitted uses. So when he came back in to see us about making his addition and adding that.
So he never started the use in 2001.
Started back in MCCD.
Because I was actually, I hate to admit it, but I was here.
Yeah.
I was on planning and zoning when we did that. It's like, oh, God.
It's a good point. It was actually approved once before.
And I remember
in a
that
different
one.
zone. So we actually have it in the CDC zone still, but now the zoning on State Street for Mr. Day is the MCCD.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. It makes sense.
Any other questions of Jared? Jared, are you representing Mr. Day also?
Yes, and if he's here and wanted to speak, that would be fine.
Is anyone here from representing the applicant would like to speak? Okay, I have a question for you, Frank. Where this is noticed as conditional use, does that create an issue for us?
Well, there is a distinction between the two. However, The ordinance, I think in your motion, just make it clear that it is to add a permitted use. I think we'll be fine. I can understand that. That is a major difference. Just picked up on it.
Yes.
So, but I think in your motion, just make sure that we're dealing with a permitted use.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and open this hearing to the public. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this matter? Seeing none, we will close this public hearing and bring it back to the council then for discussion and/or a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion that we adopt the ordinance amending Section 17170.080B of the Murray City Municipal Code to allow string instrument manufacturing, repair, and restoration as a permitted use in the Murray City Center District.
I second them.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Brass and a second by Mr. Nakponsky. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, seeing none, we'll call for vote. Jennifer?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Mr. Held?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, yeah, we have no unfinished business scheduled this evening. Item 11, new business. 11.1 is also a matter that will be pulled from the agenda this evening. It will be re-noticed for a public hearing as opposed to new business. And so that will be re-noticed and will be withdrawn this evening. So we'll move to item 12 then, and that is the report of the mayor. Mayor?
Be quite brief tonight. Just one major item and then another one. The major thing I'd like to bring up is just a thank you for all the departments and all the personnel in the city that made our tree lighting ceremony such a success. The power department put up all of our Christmas lights. They also packaged all the presents for all the kids, which were a substantial candy package for all the children. We had over 325 children here that night for the tree lighting. The firefighters were involved, of course, as the firemen pulled up in their beautiful yellow truck, and Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus and were there with them. And so we want to thank the fire department as well, Parks and Recreation Department, and all the Shade Tree Committee, and of course Tom Baker for putting up, and the people that helped Tom Baker put up all the decorations in our lobby and everything. So it was a very successful night. It was an awful lot of fun and a wonderful long-time tradition that we're continuing here in Murray. I've only been able to be involved in it for 3 years. But this one was kind of special. When I was leaving the building, walking along, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, a lady came up to me with her children and said, "This is the only Christmas present my children get from Santa Claus." So it was a special night for her and her children to be able to sit on Santa Claus's lap and receive that one present from Santa Claus. So thanks for everybody that helped that out. And the other thing I just want to tell you, this is the last, or acknowledge that this is the last meeting for 2015. And before it's over, I just wanted to thank you for one of the most memorable years of my life. And can't thank you enough, every one of you on the council. So I want to wish you and your family the very best of the holiday season, a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you very much for a great year.
Thank you, Mayor. Questions of the mayor?
Thank you. Also, Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
It has been a memorable year, Mayor, and thank you for all your work, and certainly wish you and your family the best too in this holiday season. So, that comes to the end of our agenda, so we will be adjourned.